Okay, so there's a very delicate balance that you really have to strike when you are a very creative, visionary person doing business. And that is that you really have to make sure that you're not spending too much time working in your business or working on your business, right? So I've talked a lot about the Vata imbalance that can appear when people are spending too much time in planning, in architectural phases, when they're too focused on the business design, plans for the business, planning this, planning that, when they're too focused on things like content pillars and creating content banks and banking content according to these content pillars, and then having a strategy about how to put this out, and then and it just like creatively drains people, right? So people find that they have a, good Lord, there's a massive truck rolling down the mountain. So people find that they, living in a live triple portal zone to do the maintenance on it has been a trip, y'all. But basically, so people can find that they really encounter this overabundance of Vata energy or air energy when they get stuck in this planning phase and they're not doing enough in their magic, in their business. So when they're working on the business too much, it can provide an imbalance of energy and then make it difficult for people to actually feel like they're getting anything done, actually see their magic being anchored into reality, things like that. The converse is when you're spending too much time working in your business. So you're creating, and no one's ever seeing it. When you're, maybe all you're doing is, kind of just keeping up with your client sessions. You're not really getting to do any development. That is like, that's like the inverse of that. That's like the complete lack of Vata energy. Like you're just kind of plodding along. Maybe you have too much earth or fire going on right then. But it's really like you need that Vata energy, that air energy to come in and, kind of blow things up a little bit, spin things around, get some air energy in there, right? So these are both things to be very cautious of and to watch for like a hawk in your business and in your lifestyle when they start creeping in, because they creep in all the time, okay? Mainstream business, mainstream marketing, the school programming, and corporate matrix jobs, they all program you that this is normal. It's what I like to call the Ouroboros effect. Eating your own tail just has you spinning in circles, right? No matter what, you cannot get off of this hamster wheel. And all you have to do is just remember that the power is yours to step off of it. So like this morning, I was doing all kinds of things. I woke up and I was it's always a big portal for me when I do the last pages in a journal. And so my morning page journal, it was time, it's 8:18. Of course it's a portal as that happens. And so, I was doing my morning pages. I was doing my morning routine, my morning multidimensional meditations and connections and all the things. Talked to a couple of clients, coached one of my private clients. And then I was doing some planning for Witchery U, and it was like, I started kind of feeling that spiral effect happen. And I was like, time to get up, time to change, time to do something different, right? And so that's really one of the superpowers in business, is to be able to very fine-tunedly, be very finely tuned into your own frequency range, your own energy levels, the frequency range and energy levels of the day. So like it is Monday today. Monday's ruled by the moon. It's the very last end of Venus hour right now as I'm recording this. So I was like, well, clearly the answer is to get up and go get a latte, right? Get out of the house for a minute, go get a latte. We're going to have breakfast tacos when we get back. I'm really excited about that. I've got some more grids to draw for Witchery U. I've got a book that I've been reading about craniosacral therapy that I'm very excited to read some more of, because I've really been wanting to learn a lot about getting the cerebrospinal fluid to flow on a higher level for myself. I think mine's a little sludgy, and I think that's contributed to some of my chronic pain that I'm identifying the sources of and then releasing. So, I just wanted to record a quick little snippet here, telling you, it's completely normal that you get stuck on these spirals, but what we want to do is to really begin to be the observer of our reality. Observe when these spirals begin, go, oh, we're just getting a little too much vata in here, or we need a little bit more vata in here. And I talk about the vata element in Monetize Your Magic a lot because I am a vata dosha in Ayurveda, and I have found that vata is the element and air is the element that tends to propel the most in business or block the most in business. And so this is something that you'll hear me talk a lot about, both on all of the podcasts, really, as well as in Monetize Your Magic. I talk about it in Coven of One. I think I've talked about it in Luxury Witch. This is just, it's a very consistent thing that I've seen happen over the years with myself, with other people, with clients, in a variety of focuses too, not just in business, in a variety of just people wanting to accomplish something, whatever that is, and then kind of getting in these spirals. And so when you can identify the spiral, and then you can be like, oh, time to step off the hamster wheel, right? And then just give yourself the permission to move on. We're very programmed to just sit and do one thing until we're done, except when you're the boss, you're the one who decides when you're done and when it's time to move on and move into the next thing, move into the next task. I find that I want to change what I'm doing every 1 to 2 hours. So I also tend to, on Mondays, I like to spend time. I've been doing a big archival project with my art and writing descriptions for my art for our upcoming gallery. We've got a digital gallery that we're launching this fall. And so I've been enjoying doing that. And so I have a lot of different things, it's like I want to do my art and I talk to my clients and I record business content and I record a podcast and I record, magic content and, and then I need to write some descriptions for some of my paintings, and then I channel some frequencies, and then I draw some more, and then maybe I'm like, ooh, time to do a watercolor. Oh, time to read. Oh, time to, watch boys crawl through caves on YouTube, because it gives me all kinds of codes for planetary healing and what to do to restore resonance to the planet and how to not accidentally activate energetic signatures in the planet that will cause problems because the planet's been drastically energetically depleted from all of the mining and removal of resources from the actual planet itself. And then I communicate with my interdimensional teams about we should do something about this. And then I hit the bong. And, this morning, I wrote half an article this morning. I've got at some point, or maybe I wrote the whole article. Maybe that was the whole article. So I wrote a blog this morning, I do a lot of different things, and that sounds exhausting and horrible. If you were to sit down and try to make yourself do exactly what I've done today, you'd probably be like, what the fuck? It's 1:25 as I'm recording this. I'm about to go get a frap. Okay. And I've done a ton of stuff, but that's because I woke up, I was focused, I was in my lane. I was like, okay, what am I doing to bring my magic to the world today? And then I just got into the chaos field of creation and creativity and just started doing all of the things. And I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this. And it's just all wielding, right? It's all happening. It's all weaving together. And that's what happens naturally when you let yourself just kind of, bounce through observant tuning of your own frequency ranges constantly. And don't try to put yourself on a schedule. Don't try to, get it done and, stick to it and be consistent, like all of this on shit. Be consistent showing up in your magic. Be consistent showing up as yourself. Be consistent tuning into exactly what the energy and frequency is present within and around you, and your life will flow much, much better. And on that note, I'm going to go get a frap, so I'll talk to you in the next show.